there is a threat posed by the avian influenza virus. So let us discuss how serious is the bird flu outbreak in India and what are the steps can be taken to contain it. The avian influenza, popularly known as bird flu, has been reported from Kerala, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh, Haryana, Gujarat and Uttar Pradesh in the recent weeks. During the first week of January, reports of unusual deaths of large number of birds, including the wild ones, started coming in from many states, indicating that the virus is being actively transmitted among the various bird groups. The two virus types identified so far in the outbreaks are H5N1 and H5N8, come under the category of Highly Pathogenic Avian Influenza HPAI, which is a major concern to those keeping birds because it leads to diseases and death of fowl and causes economic havoc. H5N1 is also a known threat to the human beings as well. The spread of the disease in a variety of birds in several geographical regions and seasonal movement of migratory birds have prompted the center to issue an alert to the states to adhere to the National Action Plan for Prevention, Control and Containment of Avian Influenza 2021. Internationally, the World Animal Health Information System in 2020 identified outbreaks of HPAI, that is highly pathogenic avian influenza, in Taiwan, Iran, Israel, Japan, South Korea and Vietnam, a dozen European Union countries and also Ukraine, Russia and UK, leading to a loss of over 4.8 million birds by the end of 2020. So let us see how serious is avian influenza for bird health. Avian influenza, AI in short, is a highly contagious viral disease affecting a variety of birds, including those connected with human consumption, chicken, duck, turkey and quails, as well as pet birds and wild birds. The World Organization for Animal Health, which collaborates with the World Health Organization WHO and the Food and Agricultural Organization FAO, says HPAI virus strains H5N1 and H5N2 and H5N8 and H7N8 have been identified in outbreaks, indicating active circulation. Infection histories point to H5N1 and H7N9 virus posing a threat to human health as well. FAO says wild birds act as a natural reservoirs for avian influenza viruses. Their migratory movement could bring these pathogens to poultry, waterfowl and other domestic birds through contact. HPAI, that is highly pathogenic avian influenza, produces severe clinical signs of disease in birds, causing a high degree of mortality and economic loss. The response to an outbreak is a containment strategy which is primarily centered around removing the diseased birds through culling, that is indirectly killing. Such mass destruction causes a severe impact on farmers. In the latest viral spread, in just one instance in Kerala, has already identified over 69,000 birds, mostly ducks, stuck with H5N8 virus to be killed at 4 injection sites in Kuttanad area of Alappuzha, which is the economic. So with respect to this culling of birds, what is the economic impact of bird flu? India's poultry sector, according to the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, is worth 80,000 crore, of which organized sector represents 80% and the rest is distributed among the unorganized sector. So 80,000 crore, you can just imagine 80,000 crore, including the backyard poultry keeping, which is crucial for income and nutritional security. So exports mainly focused on West Asia, neighboring countries and East Asia were valued at nearly 500 crore in 2017, with an emphasis on processed products such as egg powder, yolk powder, pharma ingredients and chicken products. Avian flu is seen as a threat to further growth of the sector as a whole, nearly 80,000 crore sector. But governments estimate there are 30 million farmers who keep backyard birds, while small and medium farmers who contribute to aggregators are crucial players in the larger ecosystem. India has a base of over 729 million poultry birds, of which 30% are layers and 40% are broilers, according to the National Action Plan for Egg and Poultry 2022. This large base of poultry shows that a serious outbreak of HPAI, as witnessed during the 2005 to 2006 in some states, can be catastrophic. During that year, in 2005 to 6, the official data put the number of culled birds at over 1 million of culled birds. So nearly 10 lakh birds are culled. In the later years, bird flu surfaced in several states such as Manipur, Assam, West Bengal, Tripura, Bihar, Kerala, leading to destructions of millions of birds. Where culling of birds is undertaken to combat bird flu, National Action Plan prescribes compensation to be given to farmers at a fixed rate. This once again underscores the value of prevention to protect captive birds. So, does the bird flu pose a threat to human beings? So, this is a major question of many of the people. The WHO, in its literature on avian influenza, states that humans can be infected with a virus subtypes like H5N1 and H7N9 and H9N2. In a recent instance of human infection, a 1-year-old was confirmed to have H5N1 in a lab PDR, thought to have been acquired from the backyard birds kept by the family. The infection in other birds in the region was also confirmed. On the H5N1 virus, the WHO says human cases of H5N1 avian influenza occur occasionally, but it is difficult to transmit the infection from person to person. When people do become infected, the mortality rate is about 60%. The Global Health Body records that since 2003, there have been 862 laboratory confirmed cases of human infection with H5N1 and 455 deaths have been reported from 17 countries. So, on the other hand, on the H5N8 strain, the consensus is that human infection cannot be ruled out. Although the likelihood is very low, the case of H9N2 strain is a 3-year-old girl was reported last year, October, from China. It was mildly symptomatic and was detected during the routine surveillance for influenza-like illnesses. The avian influenza virus in poultry have a public health dimension because they cause severe diseases in humans and have the potential to mutate to increase transmissibility among the humans. The WHO adds this call for pandemic preparedness. This calls for a pandemic preparedness for avian influenza too. So, human to human transmission is believed to have taken place in some instances as a result of close or prolonged contact, but there has been no sustained human to human transmission identified so far. So, why does this bird flu again occur? It has already occurred in 2005, but now again we have been seeing. Did the major outbreaks not help from strategies? That is, the strategies of the major outbreaks did not help now. It is impossible to eradicate the avian influenza viruses because they persist in a vast reservoir of aquatic birds. The answer to why there are periodic outbreaks that spread to domestic environment may lie in local bird keeping conditions. After the unprecedented outbreak in 2006 in Asia, in which as many as 258 cases of bird flu in humans had been reported till November 13th of that year. Experts who met at an international conference in New Delhi under the WHO felt that continuous growth in poultry farming under the poor sanitary conditions was sustaining the was a main ammunition for sustaining of the virus. With the multiple species living in the same area, this underscores the importance of prevention and surveillance. The Delhi Declaration passed at the summit resolved on the common framework for countries to build local strategies, but it did not lay an emphasis on preserving the natural environment, which is key to helping wild birds move safely in an unspoiled habitat and stop transmission of virus to domestic fowl, which threatens humans with infections and potential pandemic due to mutating viruses. So, what are the steps can be taken to minimize the risk to the domestic birds? See, the government lays down biosecurity measures to keep domestic birds safe from the transmission by wild and migratory birds and prevent local spread. The protocol, it is nothing but keeping your children safe and keeping them away from the their friends outside. So the protocol involves active surveillance of the bird areas to identify emerging outbreaks. On the other hand, it is wrong and counterproductive that FAO cautions to attempt elimination of wild birds near human settlements through hunting, poisoning, and habitat destruction. Because such activity disperses wild birds and the viruses to new areas. Moreover, hunting of wild birds and absence of biosecurity measures bring the viruses directly to the domestic fowl. In the wake of an outbreak in 2020, the UK issued advice making it legally necessary for bird keepers in that country to house them in such a manner that they do not come in contact with the wild birds. The measures, which have general relevance to the farmers everywhere, include housing or netting all captive birds, cleaning and disinfecting clothing and footwear and vehicles, reduction of people's movement in the farm bird areas to reduce the contamination, eliminating or reducing the contact between captive and wild birds, particularly through feed and water storage, and cleansing and disinfecting polluting areas. The UK uses a special checklist approach to help farmers with the best practices. In India, central government requires veterinary staff to conduct inspections periodically under the Prevention and Control of Infectious and Contagious Diseases in Animals Act 2009 to catch any signs of disease among the birds and other animals as early as possible. However, aquatic wild birds are often found in close proximity to domestic ones in many locations in India, near the lakes, dams, reservoirs, making it difficult to achieve the segregation. The waterways of Kerala are a good example of this phenomenon. So the government initiative or the government approach, and also the awareness among the public, and also the poultry farmers is a main is the key solution to reduce the impact of the avian influenza virus. Thank you.